Hi, everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Erica Horwitz. I am a psychologist in Vancouver, Canada. And we're all going through some tough times with this whole coronavirus thing. And I've been really wanting to do something to help anyone out there that may need a little bit of support or a little bit of wisdom or some strategies to help you get through this time. So even though talking to a camera feels a little strange for me, I'm going to start by posting these videos and perhaps later on do something live if I figure out the technology, which, as I said, it's a little uncomfortable. But so I thought I would start with the practice of mindfulness. There is very good evidence in the research that meditation is very helpful to our well-being, mentally, physically, and many of you who know me, who may be tuning in, already know about mindfulness as a meditation, but many of you may not. So I'll just define what mindfulness is and guide us through a bit of a meditation. And then I will be posting these several times a week with one tip, one reminder on ways that you can keep yourself well. So I'll start by defining what mindfulness is. So mindfulness is the practice of being present with all of your awareness and whatever you notice in the present moment, that you don't evaluate it or judge it. So Jon Kabat-Zinn, who developed mindfulness-based stress reduction, defines mindfulness as moment-to-moment, non-judgmental awareness. So when we practice meditation or we practice mindfulness, we are cultivating this being present. And why is that important? Because the mind tends to go to the future. What if this happens? What if that happens? And right now, with this whole situation with COVID-19, many people are struggling with their mind going to the future and wondering how this thing's all going to go, how it's all going to evolve. Of course, many of you are struggling because perhaps your jobs are on pause or you've been laid off. And so the mind can step into that future and create a lot of torture, a lot of anxiety. Or the mind can go to the past and start dwelling on things that were painful or didn't work out, or things you didn't do right, or things that were good then and why they're not good now. So one of the ways that we can keep ourselves well is by being present. And the way that we keep present is by practicing mindfulness. So the practice of mindfulness can be done in two ways. One is to do formal meditation, as I am going to teach you right now, or to do informal mindfulness, which I'll talk about after. And that has to do with how do we bring a mindful awareness to the things that we do every day. All right. So we're going to run through a mindfulness meditation. And the most important aspect of meditation is to do it sitting upright with your back upright. So slouching or leaning back is not the best way to practice. Mindfulness is a wakeful practice. We want to stay awake and aware. So if you can find a place to sit with your back straight, not necessarily tensing your shoulders, but just, with an upright, dignified posture. And if you can close your eyes, that's best. If for any reason you feel like you have to keep them open, you can do so. Just gaze down towards the floor and keep your eyes there. So I will close my eyes while I take us through this meditation. So we'll start by doing some belly breathing. And that is one of the ways that you can get your nervous system to relax into a state of rest. So breathe in deeply into your diaphragm, just below your chest, and take in as much air as you can. And then hold your breath for a couple of seconds there. And then breathe out slowly, very slowly. And as you breathe out, feel how your shoulders relax. And then breathe in again. Bring in all of the air you can to the belly. Breathing into the diaphragm. And then hold your breath for a couple of seconds. And then breathing out. And now, let's go back to breathing normally. So you want to bring your awareness to the breath. Perhaps find the very beginning of that in-breath and follow the journey of the in-breath. What are the different sensations you experience as you're breathing in? Noticing that moment when the in-breath turns into the out-breath, and then following the out-breath until that breath is completely done. And then find the very beginning of the next in-breath. You may notice the sensations of the air traveling through the nostrils, finding that the air travels behind the throat, into the lungs, filling the lungs, feeling the sensation as the chest rises, and then experiencing the out-breath as the lungs empty, the chest relaxes, the shoulders relax, and the air exits the body through the nostrils. You may notice that from time to time, the mind wanders off into thoughts. Sometimes thoughts of the future, worries, anticipating, or it may go to the past, remembering, dwelling, or it may go into thoughts of analyzing or fantasizing or figuring something out. Regardless of where the mind has gone, when you realize that you're no longer focused on the breath, gently but firmly invite your attention back to the breath. Following the journey of the in-breath and following the journey of the out-breath. There is no need to modify or change the breath in any way. The breath is always breathing itself, whether you're paying attention to it or not. So the practice of mindfulness meditation is to bring the spotlight of attention onto the breath. The breath is an anchor to the present moment. The mind may wander off many times during a meditation. It's a myth when people believe that if they're meditating right, their mind would be completely focused and settled on the breath without ever wandering off. The mind does wander off. Part of the practice, part of the container of mindfulness is the awareness of the mind's habits, the awareness of the mind's jumping away from presence, and observing what the habits of the mind are, the types of thoughts that your mind tends to generate often. So in any one meditation, your practice is to bring the mind back every time it's wandered off with kindness and patience, and perhaps begin to notice the types of thoughts the mind is occupied in. And little by little, you begin to see patterns of thoughts, narratives of the mind. So gently but firmly escorting the mind back to the breath. And now, while also gently being aware of the breath, expanding the field of awareness to notice sounds. No need to go looking for the sounds, just gently notice whatever sounds are present each moment. No need to describe, label. The practice of mindfulness is about experiencing what is here and in a way suspending language, more being present and experiencing each sound as it comes to your ears. And again, if the mind wanders off, gently but firmly invite it back to the present moment. And now narrowing the field of awareness back to the breath. So you may take a deep breath Exhale and open your eyes when you're ready. So many of you who have taken my mindfulness class will have experienced that meditation, and for some of you, it may be new. So you can play and replay this video if you want to continue to practice the meditation, or you can just do it on your own. And I thought that for every video that I post, I would offer perhaps some little strategy or tip to help you get through this very extraordinary time, out of the ordinary time. So a couple things. One is many of you may be feeling quite upset or distressed about having to be home, about what this means, and maybe finding that your internal energy is quite upset or quite negative. So what I would invite you to do is, could you reframe that experience of being in isolation or not being able to do the things that you like or live your normal life into what if this was an opportunity? What would you do with this day if you thought of it as an opportunity? So perhaps in the morning when you wake up and you say, how can I live this day if I saw it as an opportunity? What things could you do or experience if you have extra time, perhaps in your home? How could you take this as an opportunity? Whether it's the opportunity to quietly read a book that you never have time to do, or to research a topic that you've always been curious about, or to write a letter to a friend or connect with friends via phone or video chat. So the internal energy is very impacted by how we think and how we see things. So I invite you to perhaps ask yourself each morning or each day, if I take today as an opportunity, how would I live this day? How can I make the best day possible for myself? And whatever you do with this day, bring mindfulness to it. So if you decide to bake something, or to clean a drawer, or to do some yoga, or to call a friend, is to bring your full awareness to that experience. And we usually bring our full awareness by being aware of our present moment's experience. So my meditation teacher, Steve Armstrong, has taught us to understand mindfulness as remembering to recognize the present moment's experience. So bringing that present moment's awareness. What am I aware of right now? I'm aware of what I see. I'm aware of what I hear. I'm aware of the sensations in my body. I'm aware of what I smell. And of course, if you're eating or drinking something, you can also be aware of what you're tasting. So those are the 5 senses, and you can bring your awareness to the present moment by noticing what is entering your awareness through those means. And the 6th thing in mindfulness that we pay attention to is our thoughts. How am I interpreting this? How am I seeing that? So this is my first video, and hoping to, bring a little bit of what I know to try to help others get through this difficult time. So please share the video and share the YouTube channel with all your friends. so that hopefully a little bit of this wisdom that I've learned that's made a difference for me can perhaps help others. So I will be posting these videos, hopefully often, perhaps every day or every couple of days. So hopefully you'll come and join me. And at some point, I'll do a live session once I get more comfortable and figure out how to do that. So I wish you a good day and practice kindness for yourself and others.